Hello, and welcome back to a quick pen talk. And I admit I was remiss in not doing a comparison of the Asvine C80 with the Fullerton 017. Yes, I have 5 of them. I'll put a link to the latest review in which I show all of them. But one can see why these pens were considered similar. Minimalistic design, rounded ends. This is a lot more rounded. This is a lot more bullet-shaped or torpedo or cigar. However you might want to equate that shape to. But the resins used in the 017s were very unique resins. They did a nice job, and I'm certain there's a lot more varieties than the ones I have here. But these are the ones I have. I appreciate the variations and differences, but the artist that made the resins for the 017 different than the artist that made the C80s. So this is another pen that comes to mind, the Moonman M8. It was available for a while. Like the 017s, I don't think it's be easy to find any nowadays, but some people say they want a clip, and this pen had a clip. But like the 017s, these were a different type of design material. This is kind of like a Radin look, where you embed different chips or paint things on the pen and then coat it with a clear resin. But again, a smaller pen and a more pointy end, unlike the 017. So the C80 shape is in between these two. Let's give a little bit of a closer comparison. So here are the 3 pens together. The C80 is in the middle, obviously the bigger of these 3 pens by a decent amount. And this is that last one I got of the 017s, which again, very interesting resin. And here's, to me, is the classic design on the M8 with those embedded chips. We need to look at the sections and the business end next. Yes, you can post these pens. The C80 post is secure, the 017 is second, and the M8 really doesn't post really very well. You can put the cap there, but it doesn't really stay well. What really is impressive is the business end. Let's look at that. The M8 has the smaller section, followed by the 017, and then the C80 is the largest, and with that number 8 nib, number 6 nib, and number 5. So that was one of the downsides of the 017 to those that like bigger nibs. It had the smaller nib of the group, but the section was good size, felt good in the hand. The M8 is just a little bit on the small side, but the nib looks good. But the number 8 nib on the C80 is certainly not one to sneeze at. I think we need to just give you a little bit more of a close-up look. Yes, if the nib makes your day, the C80 is your pen. Well, you could say, Chris, I like the minimalistic design, but I'm worried about the pen rolling off and blah, 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 blah. So these are 3 things that you could attach to the cap that'll stop it from rolling off. And yes, I did use some of these, and I have a bunch of them. So you can do some searches on whatever platform you would like and see if you can find anything. You know, this is just a ring that's open, so you can change the size of the ring to fit the cap. They all kind of worked. I wouldn't call them a perfect solution, but it is a solution. So they fit on fairly nicely. They do add some weight to the cap, so it changes the balance of the pen. So if you have this and you post, it's going to feel a little bit different. But they do stop the pen from rolling, and that's their purpose. And it does add some aesthetic differences to the pen. Yeah, take it or leave it. And there's also this type of design where you could actually add something that kind of functions as a clip This was more popular in the vintage days, so they really don't expand as well as they would like to for the much thicker and bigger pens that we're talking about in this video. But again, it's another example of something that could be added to the pen if you want something with a clip and a roll stop. To me, I enjoy the minimalistic design. I enjoy the look of it. And I don't put things on my pens like this. That's just me. So, comparing the C80 to some other popular pens, the Lamy All-Star, Pelican M800, and a Pilot Metropolitan. German, Japanese, Chinese. Definitely the longest pen of the group. And also has the most girth. Let's just take a quick look at the nibs. As we would have suspected, and we all should have known, the C80 number 8 nib dwarfs these other ones, including the nib on the M800, which is not considered a small nib. Forget the Lamy All-Star. I don't know. A lot of people love it, not me. And a Pilot Metropolitan. And also a small section, a little bit thicker section, but very short. And I really like the section on the C80. This is the most comfortable pen of this group for me to hold. Get a lot of room to move the fingers around. And yes, if your fingers are down at the bottom of the section, they're going to be a fair distance away from the paper at the end of the nib. But I can get used to it on the C80. The 930, not so much. What pens do you like? I put together 3 different varieties of these pens just to say closing statement. I think as far as the aesthetics go of the look of the pen, I think the M8 wins on that basis because this embedded material and how they did it, just very nice, very unique, and I enjoy it. But you know, it just wasn't that nice of a writer in my hand. It's just me, ergonomics, whatever. The C80, I think, fits well in my hand. I like it. I like the nibs. I like the variety of nibs, which you don't get in these other pens. And I think a close second is the Fuluin 017. I like the different acrylics that they used. You know, I like the nibs a little bit more than the Moonman nibs, but again, never became a daily writer like I hoped it would be. So with that, I hope this video found everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, exploring the incredible wide variety of pens that are available to us. And for those of us that have been in the business of acquiring pens over a decade of my recent acquiring, over 5 decades of my actual acquiring in my lifetime, maybe close to 6 decades, who knows. Yes, I'm an old blah blah. So with that, we've reached the conclusion of this video. A number of users wanted me to do a comparison video, and I should have done one before as I play with orientation here, but I didn't. But I am now doing that. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed a visual tour of 3 interesting pen models, 2 from the old days. This time in the old days is a few years ago. I put links to my reviews of the 017 and the M8 for those that are interested in more details. So again, have fun, enjoy your day, and we will say bye-bye. Pens on the way.